Welcome to Nina's Bag. I'm Nina Dawson. Nina's Bag is a podcast that I started to create a safe space to have conversations with amazing people about a multitude of topics. Today, we are blessed and I'm honored to have as my guest Drew. He's so awesome that everybody calls him one name, Drew. Like, and Drew is the founder and the executive producer of one of the flyest programs that we have, one of the best community-based organizations, Center for Creative Education. And I'm so honored to have you, Drew. Really, I am.
Thank you. I'm honored
Yes.
that you invited me.
No,
I'm honored to
this is
be
gonna be
here
fun. It's
and
gonna be
have
fun.
conversation with you.
It's
I've
gonna
been
be fun.
checking out Nina's bag, and man, I'm
I'm trying
impressed.
to.
I was like,
I'm
yay.
just. I like to collaborate with positive people. This is
Yeah.
so easy when it's somebody positive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, can you just tell our amazing audience a little bit about you? Give us a
Oh,
little a
okay.
bio,
Yeah.
if
The
you can.
short or the longer
You could
short?
give us
Which
whatever
one?
one you want to give
Okay,
us.
I'll give you the kind of, and if you have other
No,
questions,
no.
then
Oh,
let
we're
me know.
just gonna flow.
But
We're just
so
gonna
yeah,
flow.
born in Brooklyn, they call it Brooklyn Jewish Hospital, which is St. John's now, um, and from the Marcy projects until we were like
Really,
five before we moved. Yeah, because a good friend of my dad was murdered at Marcy
Marcy,
projects. That
unbelievable.
stopped, and then we moved to Staten Island, which was still part of NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved there, and I was raised. So it's crazy with city housing or public housing because we were in one project before we moved to another. So we were on the sixth floor in 61. It was Jersey Street before we moved to Park Hill. Wu Tang, that joint.
I
So
love it.
so we
I
were at
love
61,
it. I
and
love
then we moved to
it.
81 Jersey Street. So we were on the sixth floor, and it was crazy because if you lived on a higher floor, you were known as poor. If you lived on
That
the
was a great
lower
word.
floors from the first to the third floor, you were known as the ones who had
I would think it would
some
be the
money.
opposite.
So check it. This is why. Because the elevators never worked and you would have to carry your
Oh
groceries
my
or your
God.
laundry up to the eighth floor.
Wow.
So you're stepping over urine and feces and junk, people that's taking drugs in the stairwell. So if you lived on the lower floors, easy, it's
Ah,
easy. So, you just either walk into your house or you only have
interesting.
two flights or whatever from the ground floor. So, it's like Jefferson's. We're on the sixth floor and then we moved down. So, it's like, okay,
Okay.
cool. We're doing the
Progress. All
thing.
about progress. All
At
about
least that
progress.
was the thing. So,
So you were
um,
in the city, you were born in Brooklyn, you
in
went moved to
Brooklyn,
Staten Island,
yeah,
and
at five,
until what age?
six. Um,
Did
in
you stay in
Staten
Staten
Island.
Island before you came
So
up?
so we moved so I moved to Brooklyn after I had my child. I moved to Manhattan, which is 116th and Marcus Garvey
Okay.
Avenue before I moved upstate. So it was Brooklyn to Staten Island to Brooklyn.
To
In
Manhattan.
between, it was the Bronx, Walton Avenue, right off the
The
Concord.
whole
And
state
then,
thing.
yeah, then I was working in Brooklyn, Bedford, Stuyvesant. No, we were working at Bedford and Farragut, a place called, this was working with young people that are, at risk
So you started down in the city doing
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's
yeah. We
awesome.
started, that was my
Because if
job.
you could do it there, you could do it anywhere.
Pretty much. At
Wow.
least that's what I thought. Of course, we have different challenges based on, the
Always.
population we're working with. But so from Staten Island there, I was a teen dad, so I had Lisa at 17 going at 18,
That's awesome.
and
That's
and
why
then
and that I thought that was your mini me
that is my baby.
until your
It
grandson came
Oh
along. Then I was
yeah,
like,
that's my
whose
little.
child really is this?
Don't even try it.
He looks so
No,
much like
erase
you.
that.
He looks like you.
Yeah,
It's
that's my
crazy.
boy. That's my
Crazy.
boy. So yeah, so I
So
had to
teen
raise
dad, that's
teen dad, and then I raised Lisa. Mom went and
amazing.
lived her life, and I raised Lisa so she used to always go to work
That's
with
so
me.
fly. I mean,
Yep,
I know struggles come with that, but I
yep.
think that is so when a man does that, like
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced that. That's really fly.
Yeah,
Women we expect to do it, but when
mhm.
a man does it, it's challenging, especially with a girl. And that's I my hat goes off to you for
Well,
that.
that was it. I had a mindset when I was younger. I was like, wait, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I
Well,
said,
it's
your
hard.
mother, someone's supposed to be doing it. She said she spent a lot of time with her grandmother,
Sometimes
her great
God does
grandmother,
things
for a reason.
because
That's
she's an
right.
amazing, amazing daughter, like
Very
driven,
blessed. Yep.
and it has to be because of who raised her.
Well, and she's been through, like we lived all over the place, before we actually settled down here.
Sometimes people
Yeah.
think when it looks good
Yeah.
that it's just been cherries the whole time,
Ah!
but those are the gems that God also gives us to make us grow. So I believe that
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
People think that life is easy for people that are upbeat, like because you're an upbeat person. I'm an upbeat person. Life be life, though.
the thing about that, Nina, is there was a part in my life where I used to wake up with crazy anxiety. Like I'm raising this girl and I'm trying to,
Been there, done that.
yeah, I was supposed to go straight to college from high school, and I'm raising my child. I'm working. My mom
You
taught me a
question
huge
yourself.
lesson. Of course you do.
Yeah.
So I was going through it. I was like, how do I represent? I want to be a great role model for my daughter. How do I do my best to make sure as a black man that I rep
See this?
in this space?
I think that there's so much beauty in what you just said
Mm,
because so many people right here where we live, who we help, have been through so many things, and for them to see, they usually people think the person that's helping them
yeah,
is somebody that has had a good life always, but the relatability is
right.
why we can help people so good.
I agreed.
My struggles are the reason why I have this compassionate side. Your struggles and to be a parent, like you
Hmm.
are so good with kids, like it's incredible. A teen dad, we hear about teen women,
Yeah,
but a teen dad,
yeah.
amazing.
No, I mean, again, I don't. I mean, it's all to me, it's all different. But there's a lot more teen moms out there that are struggling and doing the thing
Most
by
often dads
themselves.
don't do it. You don't
And
see it that
yeah,
often.
so I'm not going to put myself at, in comparison to women and what they have to endure as women and as single women raising their children, whether it's the boys or the girls. I'm not even going to compare. I
But you have
I
to
feel
take the compliment because it's very, very real.
right.
Like there are a lot of dads that can't do it, that they love their child, but it's not an easy thing, especially a girl. Like,
Yeah, no, it's hard, but I feel like it's hard for anyone,
but the
especially
outcome,
for a dad that's like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be
especially
doing
when you're
this.
so young,
Yeah,
because we all say things that I was supposed to do this.
yeah,
I remember saying I was supposed to do that. I wanted to be a lawyer.
yeah,
I'm not a lawyer.
right,
Sometimes I wonder when I'm helping people and I'm going to court with people,
right.
but you know
God
what
had
I
other
mean?
plans for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, other
that's
plans for
how it
you,
happens.
and 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 that happening made you who you are today,
I don't.
affording opportunities and setting space like this. I've been
This
watching,
is Kate.
and I don't want to turn it on you,
No, this is
but
easy.
like Nina's bag, I love it. I can watch it over and over, and I'm getting some tidbits from each person that you interview, even getting to learn you a lot more.
It's so important to have a safe space because if this were an uncomfortable thing, we
Mm,
wouldn't be able to talk about some of the things that we can. But I want to flip it back to you, Drew, because you are such an amazing person. I always thought it was so cool to see a father-daughter son team. I think that
mm,
that is such a
yeah.
dope look because that's you're creating generational wealth. To me, that's one of my most important things
Mm,
because I help a lot of people, and I had to catch myself. How can I help my son? How can I
right.
build my family up? You know what I mean?
Capo is dynamic.
But no, I love the fact that you have one of the most sustainable. And I know it wasn't easy because nothing is easy.
Yep.
You have sustained generations of other people's kids, Drew.
Hmm.
So before we jump to that, I want you to. So all right, you lived in a city, you had your
Hmm.
beautiful baby.
Hmm.
How'd you come upstate?
So, so I'm working at different residential treatment facilities. My whole thing was always kids, and I have a story behind that really fast. My brother,
Sure.
back in the days, was working summer job. He was working on the boat. He was cleaning the boat, and then he went to, for summer youth. And he was like, "Come on, it's fun over here." My first job at 14. He was 3 years older than me, and I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And I hated it. Like halfway through it, I was like, "This is not fun for me. How do you get fun
How
or
did he
derive
think that
fun
was
from
fun?
this whole from
Right,
for cleaning
right,
a boat, the
right.
ferry,
That's
the ferry to
interesting.
and from Staten Island?" And I was like, "Wait, I'm not, I don't like this." So halfway through, I went back to, I guess, central office and asked, "Is there anything else I can do?" They said,
I
"These are
admire
your,"
you
they
for
said,
that.
"These are your choices." And they said, "Working with kids." Now this is Park Hill. Now in Park Hill, which was much rougher than it was today, we had kids that were in the camp, so I had to be there at 8 o'clock. But at night, parents had them on the street, and it was my
So
heart
they were in a
dropped.
safe place during the
They was in a
day,
safe place during the day.
so
At
the kids
night,
would just be outside.
no, on the street. The girls were on the street with makeup and so on. And I was like, "Wait a minute." So I'm
That's hard
driving.
for
These
you.
kids are
Kids that you know
it.
that you're working
No,
with.
it absolutely killed
Wow,
me. Now this is before my daughter.
wow,
But I'm 14, 15, and I'm seeing this on a regular
that's
basis. I'm like,
crazy.
wait, this is also when crack became available.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that was
it
that
took
was a
my
game
community.
changer.
It took my
It was a
community
game
by storm.
changer, definitely.
Friends that were kind of corny became like
It
big
did
time.
not discriminate.
And yeah, that like I went like it was real. So I was like, okay, so I
You
needed to
saw it. You
do
got to
what I
visually see
can
that
do
transition,
when they were young. I needed to create a space where they see a male showing love in a
not in a way where I need something
respectful
from
way.
you.
No, don't need anything
Wow.
from. Nope, no,
That's
no
so
babies. Nope.
important. And that tells me a lot about your mind, even at a young age,
Yep.
to see the importance in that because people are followers often.
Yeah.
They'll see other people abusing something, whether it's a child, a woman, a man, and they'll follow suit or they'll talk about it. It bothers you. So that says so much about you.
Yeah, so that stuck. So I kind of wanted to be a protector where I could within my life, doing the things that I felt that came natural to me. Like you mentioned that what you do here at Nina's bag comes natural. We forget sometimes the things that we are meant to do should come natural.
It
It
makes,
shouldn't
that's
be,
right.
I mean, of course, at a certain point, a height in your career, yes, it gets a little harder because
You
you're
got to do
figuring
what
out,
you got to
but
do.
you're willing to do it because it's helping you and yours, what you have committed to, your love and passion for what you do. It should kind of come natural. And we're
I
constantly dipping
agree.
and diving from what our true passion is because of society telling us, no, this is the way to
You
go.
can't do
This is
that.
what makes money.
You're not supposed to do that. That's not a career that's going to make you.
No.
But as people that have
Mm-mm.
had struggles, we know how to take. If we grow mentally, we know how to take the things that are a struggle for us, and we know how to transform them into something that it makes us want to go to work
Right.
or wants to. It makes us want to be involved, deeply involved and compassionate about whatever it is. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And that's what I try to do. Even through all our adversities,
Yep.
we continue to rise and we continue to grow. But we change things. We have those weird capabilities, I think.
Watching you on your trajectory and the things that you do since I've known you back when.
Ditto,
It's been the same thing.
ditto.
No
You
matter
too.
what you were doing.
You too.
It was kind of the same,
That's why we
you
get
know,
pulled
what
into so many
what
things.
what you do is exactly what I do,
Yes, it
except,
is.
I think it's parallel roads leading to how to use what come natural to us to
Right.
better people's lives.
And that's dope right there.
That's what we do.
How many times do have we been asked, can you speak about this topic for us? No problem. I won't even know you're going to be there, and I'll get there and you'll be there, and I'll be like, it
Bam.
makes sense to me. It just makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Multiple times, like deciding who the next diversity, equity, and inclusion personnel is going to be
Hmm.
for a newly developed position at Kingston High School.
Oh
I walk
yeah.
in the room, you're there.
Oh yeah.
You
I
know,
remember
uh,
that. Hmm.
rub code things like
Hmm.
things that are beautiful buildings today. And thank God
Yeah.
people like us spoke up because I think that if somebody stopped something positive like that,
Hmm.
all those people that live in that building would not be in that building.
Yes,
Because communities can stop
you're
things. I
right.
watch it on the news all the time.
Hmm.
But so you were doing back then what you had to do, and then you had a baby, and then how did you come? I mean, what brought you from the city from helping youth that are in that
Right.
were from areas of disparities? How did that transition you upstate?
I was working at that time with children with special needs on so what is it? It was 110th Street and Central Park West. I was working there.
Downtown. So you so
And yeah, and then a couple of friends of mine stated that they had a job. It was called DFY back in the days.
this is the
Remember that joint?
this is the stuff right here.
Remember that? So they
Yes.
were like, "Yo, they have." Yeah, it was like it's rough. I'm out on comp, but it's good money. It was a thing,
I
and all
never
my
knew.
people was traveling
See,
to
I
and
never
from
knew
upstate.
that you even did DFY until because all I saw you was in this positive movement in Kingston.
Mm,
I was
mhm.
like, I don't know, I don't even remember. You were here so long doing positive movement that when somebody mentioned DFY with you, I'm like, you did DFY?
Yeah,
I had no idea, but these are our,
for a
these,
minute.
this is that was part of your
For a
journey.
minute, and we were going
Really?
through it over there. Woof.
You
I
were
know a
there
lot
for a
of brothers
while?
around here. Yeah, for a while we were there.
Wow.
So I'm working there. So that's why
Amazing.
I moved up to Poughkeepsie.
Oh, you lived in Poughkeepsie
I lived in
first?
Poughkeepsie,
Interesting.
and then from Poughkeepsie I moved over. But I was working at DFY, which is now OCFS. It was OCFS
Right,
by then.
right.
Um, DFY. Then I got a job because we had to hustle. I was working at
You have to. You can't do
CHK.
one.
And I was also working at St. Cabrini Home.
In
I was like,
addition
boom,
to
boom, boom.
DFY,
Hmm. And yeah, I had to make, if there wasn't any overtime over there, I need to feed the
wow.
family. At this
Yeah,
point, I'm
because
married. I had my son. I,
and
I
rent is
want to move
real
him. The rent, but check it. Rent was like 650.
back
Rent was
then.
650 back then in the 90s.
I can't
Yeah.
remember those kind of
Trust
figures.
me, it was
I don't remember
650.
that.
It was 650. I was like, whoa. And in comparison to where rent is now, I can't. I wouldn't do that.
It's
No.
crazy, but there's
I'm
so
like
many
I'm setting up a
factors.
box.
There's so many factors. So check this out. I want to know. So okay, interesting, and it only makes sense for you to work at DFY OCFS
Hmm.
because
That's before fiscal correctional.
you worked at
They
Fisco
closed that down and we were all training to work
for
there.
corrections.
And that's when I left. Yes.
So they transit. I wonder what happened.
Yes.
So the DFY building was the one on
They went to
9W.
Think a place like Brookwood, and also we had to take the test to go to fiscal correctional. I was like,
Life
I'm not
changing.
doing this. I didn't even like working where I worked
Right.
because I worked with Central Park joggers. They were in my
I was gonna
unit
say I know that they were
in
there. Wow.
Wingdale. They were there, and
Wow.
we had a lot of kids from my community, whether Bed-Stuy, Staten Island, or
Wow.
Harlem. They
All
were
of
in
them.
there, and it killed me. It was only black and brown. That's
Hmm.
it.
So
It
true.
that was it, it
That's
was
all. That
it
was
was terrible.
always. That was always.
For me, I mean, I dig it. People have to work. People have to make their money, and hopefully they're doing it with love and respect out of people who is now hopefully learning from their mistake and can come out and
Right.
transition back into, society. But
Do you ever see
mm,
any youth that you work with at any one of the facilities that come back, or you see them later in life and they say, "Drew, what's up? I remember when you worked
all
at."
the time,
See, and that
all the
my
time.
ex-husband used to bring kids home. Like
Hmm.
we'd get attached to a kid that nobody wanted,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm still in touch with them to this day. That's some magic right there.
yeah. It,
Like
it it is
crazy.
magic.
So, wow. So when everybody transitioned to the state,
Hmm.
how did you? What was your next move?
I was I left. I was just working my two jobs and working on developing how. So this is it.
I
There's
was
the
because
found
CCE is a phenom.
but CCE. So there was CCE and then there was Unique Fitness. I started. unique fitness because of what I was seeing, working with the
Mm-hmm.
people that were locked up or kids that were in placement,
Right.
court adjudicated people, what have you. And on what I saw there
Right.
was just adults weren't taking responsibility for what young people were doing.
And there
So
is
we
a
didn't
big
we didn't
responsibility for
create
adults. Don't
space.
forget to show the camera
She,
your face every now and then.
we didn't create space for young people and take responsibility where we stood in that.
It
That's what was happening.
that would create so the responsibility would have created a real rehabilitative setting. So
Mhm.
people just coming and doing their time and
That's
going.
it. You're going home.
That's painful
So
to me.
if we're doing this work with our young people, let's take it serious to the point where yes, you may have to spend a little extra time. Yes, you may have to research things that that child is interested in. Yes, you may have to show more love for this kid who's going through it or have been violated by society or their parents and so on and so forth. Yes,
So
you
many
may have to
stories.
go beyond,
Yes,
above and beyond. Yes,
I
that
agree.
that has to happen sometimes. But
And
this is what I say, we're here on this earth. How are we, what rent are we paying? To
right.
me,
Or
that's it.
how are we paying our rent?
How are we paying our
So
rent? Yeah.
bureaucracies
Hmm.
many times cause and it's funny because in bureaucracy, things that have a
Hmm.
lot of bureaucracy, there is a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of documentation, and that documentation is, and when it's put in writing, it
Yes.
says what you just said. So
Yeah.
basically, it says we're creating an atmosphere of programming that is going to improve or prepare these court involved
Yep.
youth
Yep.
for better outcomes.
Yes.
I'm telling you, there's a
Hmm.
lot of paperwork, but you become and you get more involved in formalities, and there is no rehabilitation. There is no
Not.
sensitivity or empathy
Mm-mm,
to
mm-mm.
where these problems originate from and how we can mentally help the mental health of the one of these kids
Hmm.
improve.
This is where the balance comes in.
Right,
What you're saying is the bureaucracy takes us away from our original mission.
right.
And it does.
Happens
I
all the
mean,
time.
if our mission is to educate our kids to create like autonomy and mastery and purpose for our young people, like how do you do that if you're busy, with paperwork? And
Education is a big word too,
that takes.
because mind you, you got a bunch of kids in these facilities.
Mhm.
And often, what I found is that kids meet up with other kids and they actually grow what they were doing
Yeah,
previously, or they grow into something else that is not a benefit to them. It becomes like they learn, they're educated from the kids that
right.
they meet in turn inside,
Hmm.
and they link up with them when they get outside. There's a lot of things that happen that work against. Like there's been a known thing that kids that go to facilities end up worse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so it's not really a fix, but it's what
But the system is designed to do what it's meant to do, which is to keep everyone else honestly
recidivism,
employed and
recidivism.
and doing the work. And yes, this is something that we have to deal with. Just pick your thing. My thing is to create art, to a place to empower and connect our kids, and our community. That's my love.
It
That's my
truly
passion.
is.
That's what I do. And I'm telling you, what I feel is because it comes so natural. People
Hmm.
like when are you going to retire? I don't see retiring from something that I
No,
absolutely
I'm
love.
telling you, Drew, it ain't gonna happen
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
so natural for
I
you.
mean, we can
Like
open up for other young, like, yeah, I want to see younger people taking
what
control,
I think is
understanding
so
back
dope.
end.
I was in New Paltz College, and you were had like a whole lecture center almost doing this dance, like, and these were people that couldn't dance.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
taught
yeah.
them a two step. I was like, Drew's dope.
Yeah, no, but because that's my love. That's kind of what I let go when I was raising my child and came back to.
So how did you? So you combine this fitness thing with CCE, and it
Yeah.
just kind of morphed into, because I remember you being in other buildings, but I remember you having like tons of kids that have left,
Oh my gosh.
like
Yeah.
that are older now, that were so into this. I don't care where you had them, and you developed it. Not first, it went from a facility where
Yeah.
that happened, but then you started doing performances
Well,
for
we started at
locations.
Boys and Joe Fay, God rest his soul. We started with Joe Fay. He
I don't even
allowed
remember it being there.
Joe Fay, yeah, boys and
I don't
girls. I
remember it
think
even
who
being
was
there.
it? Ashley, you met. See, don't play. You
I don't even
know
remember
that
that.
we had hundreds of kids. I'm telling you, it was like
You
it was
have.
packed. And from there, I was like, oh, people like this, and parents started coming as well. We moved from there because what happened is Joe Fay, he warned me like for months. He said, Drew, those younger kids can't come in here because we're not,
They're
it's
underage.
liability, you know? And I was like, I hear you, and I'd
But this
rather
is what
them
we need to
here.
do.
Yeah, every hour
Right.
off of the street is
That's
an
right.
hour that's going to help save that child.
And you really, really
And
sincerely
I'm
thought
like,
like that, Drew.
so he was like, yeah, you're gonna have to take that somewhere else if you want to use all the kids. But I love Joe Fay because he gave the opportunity.
To start.
He gave us a start to allow it, and then we moved to the Y, and then that was full, so we started a studio about this big, about the
Was
size of
this
this
over
room.
by Little Italy? Somewhere over by Little Italy?
That was a third, fourth place, if not.
Because that's
It,
the first time
yeah,
I noticed you. And I was like, I walked in, I was like, this is a, you had people in this room doing stuff, people in that room doing stuff, and little kids who were like more
yeah,
in
that
tune with
was.
music than me. I was like, when I went home, I said, you got to do better, Nina, because that was dope.
Nah, you're
People are
doing.
drawn to you when they see that kind of work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kids that are actually into it. You're not standing over top of them always. But then I love seeing walking into a class and seeing you had an instructor, and it would be you originally and then your kids.
Yeah, we
I
passed that.
thought that was
Yeah,
so,
and we have
so
generations
dope.
coming back
I love that. Like, I
to the
remember what's her
community.
name? Oh gosh, that's my girl too. She has all the beautiful daughters and her son, Broadhead.
Karen,
Karen.
yeah, all the babies,
I freaking love
all the
her. I
babies.
love Karen. Karen could I used to be like, you could
Yeah,
dance your
Karen
butt
could
off. And
dance
she was a
too.
part of it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
and her spirit was upbeat,
Upbeat.
positive.
She's still doing the
She's
thing.
always gonna
Whatever
be
she
good.
is.
Shout out
Yeah,
to you, Karen Broadhead. Like,
yeah.
whoa. You not only did you have beautiful, beautiful kids, but you always had the
My
best
son.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always
Oh,
gonna be good.
all these people. Yeah,
But you've had a
yeah.
lot of families. I started seeing families. I started seeing then what blew my mind was adults. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
wait a minute,
The
wait.
adults wasn't having it. They weren't having it. They
But
said,
you
no,
pulled
we
them in.
we want this too.
I can't believe that you got adults to do dance.
But my thought is if you're as passionate about something, there's always people out there to help support you in it. If you're passionate, that
Doesn't
energy,
work for
that's why
everybody, Drew. You got
yes, it
something.
does. No,
No, you got something
I mean,
different. No,
no,
you do. You
no,
have
mm-mm.
something different
Only the way I
because
think. There's nothing different. I just think differently. And I feel that we all have the capacity. We all have the fortitude to do the same
we
thing,
might have
to
the
create.
capacity
Yeah.
and the fortitude, but we don't do it. Everybody does not have your magic. And I just want to be clear on that. Drew has grown like from a seed that you plant, and then and you have like a whole garden now.
No.
And I think that that is the magic. I remember
Mm-mm.
us going to Pennsylvania,
Oh,
and I
that,
remember you.
that's
I remember
right.
saying, Drew, you got that. You got,
Hmm.
you have the mecca. You have the building where all kinds of things can come out of it.
Right.
And now when I go, and every time I go, and I'm like this. You
But
got stuff. You
Nina,
got videos. You
no,
got all kinds of
Nina,
stuff.
no, no, I'm
I'm
sorry. Thank you. And yes, God gives all of us blessings and how we use that. So this is it when it comes to that. I saw who was it on your show? I was looking at Nina's bag and a couple of interviews. I said it's always seeds that's being planted on your show, the questions that's being asked, the conversations that's being asked. And I picked up something. One thing was the we don't do this by ourselves. That's real. I mean, yes, we may start it, but without the community and those who also love and
That's very
support the
generous,
work,
and it is
but
true.
it's totally true.
It
You
is
have you
true.
have people like I don't know if you saw this picture. I have Pastor Childs, Modelli, and
Oh, that picture.
I have Rob Dassey.
Yes.
I have Kevin O'Connor. I have
Yes.
Christine
All my
High. I
faves.
have all the people that
Yes. I
have
love Christine. I
helped
love
to
everybody that you
inform
just
my
mentioned.
life and what I do here in beautiful Kingston. I felt that, I'm telling you, I felt the magic when I first came to Kingston, just driving
And I
in.
never, ever, ever, ever wanted to stay in Kingston. And
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
believe that I'm still here sometimes. I swear.
Because
I'm
you still
like,
have
I
work
can't
to do.
believe it. My mother kept saying, well, maybe this is where God wants you. And I'd be like, oh my
Yes.
goodness, don't say that, mom. Don't
Yes.
say that. But
Good,
you took something, you took a seed, you planted it, Drew, regardless of, oh yeah, you got people to follow you, and you built a team, and it was beautiful. And your teams have come in waves. You've had generations, Drew.
Yeah,
You've had
that's true.
people at your at CCE, and their kids
That's
come
true.
now,
That's true.
and their kids come. Like that is that generational movement.
Yeah.
And now one of the things that I really, really love that you're doing at CCE is you have diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that we talk about, and that as the term has been thrown around so much so
Mm-hmm.
that like it sometimes becomes meaningless. Now here we are in a position where the government doesn't want to even acknowledge it. Okay, like what?
Yeah.
Why do we need this? But
Hmm.
we know as people of color, we know the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. You have built. I would come to CCE and I'd see white kids, black kids,
Hmm.
Latino kids, African kids, like all different nationalities. And I'd be like, how? And some of the kids, some of the white kids that were there, I'd be like, I remember once. Okay, the first you kept saying, Nina, come to my show, come to this event.
All
We're gonna
right.
be at the high school. We're gonna be here. I finally caught one because I was involved in something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I finally caught one at the high school. It was the worst thing I could have ever done. I was crying at your thing.
Oh, it's good.
Kingston High School. You brought kids. You brought kids from big kids all the way down to like little kids, and you brought
Very
this
good.
little. You brought a little white girl. She was probably in the middle range, and you said, no, you didn't say it. She said, I couldn't dance before,
Mm-hmm.
and Drew helped me to dance. And my parents can't believe, and she broke out in this. I said, I couldn't believe she broke out and danced better than me.
It's a dedication
I
that you
said,
have. Yeah.
I said that little girl can dance all alone, but because it was impossible. She moved so well that I'm like, there's no way that this girl couldn't dance before this.
Yeah.
She said she
Yeah.
could never dance
You
before she
know,
came to
I
CCA.
look, so I don't know if I mentioned this, but a couple of months ago, CCE adopted a philosophy called Ubuntu. I don't know
Ubuntu,
on Ubuntu. So
Ubuntu.
the Ubuntu, Ubuntu, Ubuntu philosophy is based around, first off, it's I am because you are. It's the space that we create for each other. And what Mandela created, which is Mandela and Desmond Tutu, they kind of came together after the
I remember.
apartheid, and they used this philosophy from a tribe, the Bantu
I
tribe, which
got
is
it.
possibly all in us, which is West African before the migration to South Africa, and they used this to bring community together, and they call that the Rainbow Nation. The Rainbow
Really? Is that what the
Nation,
rainbow? I
that's
never
what the
really
Rainbow
knew what
Nation,
that
it was something to include all, because all that the Europeans did to the Africans
was
was so
separate.
horrific
Right.
and separating them on their own land
That's right.
that when Mandela was released, he collaborated with
What an amazing
Desmond,
man.
Desmond Tutu, came together to create a space for all people,
Wow, that's
for
what
all
the
people. And Ubuntu is a lot about forgiveness. It's a
mm,
lot about forgiveness because it's hard to live on this earth with just hate in your heart. Yes, we have to understand ourselves. We have to educate. We have to facilitate, but there's a real focus on forgiveness and moving
I
forward
like
and
that.
staying strong.
It is
You know?
important,
Yeah.
which brings something to mind. So, diversity, equity, and inclusion, I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned before, you definitely have always been pushing DEI.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that made it really, really full circle is that you had LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
You had everybody represented. And I said, I said, Drew's going to make it. You're going to make it because you had an inclusive community. and you started crossing lines. Crossing lines is imperative. Doesn't matter who we like, what we don't like, what we're against. You don't have to like everybody, but you got to be able to work with
There
everybody.
you go. There you
Just
go.
that's just one of the
Bingo.
common sense things
Right
of being
there.
able to make it wherever. You know,
Yes.
many times I've actually had programs where people would say, "I only want to cater to um, people of color." Yes, we do need more than
Yeah.
most because we don't have
Agreed.
it. We are behind. We're way behind.
Hmm.
But when you can actually find something that is universal like dance and putting on programs, because you don't just do dance, you have
Educational program,
scenes,
financial
educational
literacy,
programs, financial
food
liter.
program.
Food. You
Mm-hmm.
can't ride by your facility
Hmm.
without seeing food out
We
front.
have food. You have to have food.
I hear people in the neighborhood talk about that. You and Christine Hine are doing it.
Well, I work closely with Christine,
She's
and
dope.
that's why she's one of the pictures, on
She's
that
dope.
painting,
I had her here,
because she's committed to the work, and you can't help but
and
to
she's growing too.
gravitate to people who are
Right.
committed to the
I
work,
agree.
you
I,
know?
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
I
she
had her
doesn't
here
falter.
as a guest because she was telling me all the things that they were doing, and I was like, everybody that I have, I'm hoping that they let people know because you can do what you do so much, but the
Right,
community doesn't always know that you have financial literacy,
right,
that
right.
you have educational programs. I remember, as a matter of fact,
Hmm.
when COVID was going on, there was a big worry.
Oh,
And I was a youth bureau director at the time, and I had two major community based organizations that were making things sustainable.
yeah.
Actually, three. It was Boys and Girls Club,
Hmm. Remember?
CCE, and
Remember?
Rondout Neighborhood Center.
Yes. Yep.
Because you have to think, some of the kids that were going to these facilities are kids that were being molested
Right.
at home.
Yeah.
So COVID made everybody stay home. And
Mm.
we put kids in jeopardy by doing that. And once I thought about that, I was like, this is not
Hmm.
good. We have to think out. I had to think outside the box. We have to keep these facilities running.
Right.
And I remember saying at the time to the county executive, we need to channel money to those
Hmm.
organizations
Hmm.
because they're going to save kids.
Right.
And
Right.
that's some of the weird things that you don't think about. But I remember it was a makeshift at first, you guys, because remember, at first they weren't doing school. Everything was just shut down.
Yeah.
But when school started, it was a travesty. Or when they started doing teaching kids from home, all the kids
Yes.
of color did
Mm.
not have laptops or tablets.
Yep.
It wasn't until later that they started issuing them. But
Hmm.
we looked for community-based organizations, and you were one of them.
Well, I was only one of them because of the people around me. Radio Kingston, Novo jumped in, the county
Those are
jumped
wonderful
in a
things.
lot,
Yeah,
and then the community jumped in.
but
I
that's so
mean,
important though because organizations actually know that you're a safe space for kids. You
yes.
know what I mean?
Yep.
And if we can take kids, you were bringing kids that weren't even part of CCE
Yeah.
in there as a space, a
Hmm.
safe space to get out their tablets and be educated.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of deep mental, depressing things going on. And
Right.
that was one of the heights of
You're
youth
so
being
right.
depressed.
You're
That
so right.
like depression it took off with COVID
Right.
for
Yeah.
youth.
Being
I
stuck
remember
in
depression
the
and
house.
suicidal tendencies
Hmm.
took off at that time.
Yeah.
Because remember, a teen gets off on they grow from being around their peers.
Yep.
They have that
Hmm.
need. So
Yeah.
the fact that you made that safe space, I was like, wow.
Well, like you
You and
know
your
me.
team, and I
You know
commend
me,
you.
I,
commend you for
I just
saying,
have to.
yeah,
I have to
I like
because
it.
what happens, I feel in our community sometimes they're like, oh, him, and it's not only me.
You know,
I'm one of the many, but I feel that when I tap into you, whatever you're doing since back when, if I ask you, you will find a way.
there are a lot of organizations. Sometimes we say there's nothing, but Harambe, Tyrone, what he
Hmm.
does, like what he did with that with the grave site was phenomenal.
Yeah,
The fact that he had kids, teenagers, and at one time I went to this event and he had college students
yeah,
get digging in
yeah.
areas trying to be careful with the dirt. Like
Yeah,
I
as they
afterwards I was
should.
like I did
Our
like this
ancestors are
tie.
in there. That's right.
And I
Uh-huh.
think that the fact that we recognize that there are multiple agencies, and my point
Hmm.
for Nina's bag
Hmm.
is to advocate, educate, and elevate.
You're
If
doing
I
it.
can send somebody to Drew or
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone or Christine Hine
Mm-hmm.
or whomever,
Mm-hmm.
if I can actually bridge that gap, especially now with Latino people.
Right.
Latino people are in a very
Mhm.
compromised
Oh
position,
my God.
and I kind of latched on to them,
Mhm.
and they're latching on to me because I feel like it's wrong. How do you just designate? Well, I don't like Spanish people.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
The country was developed on immigrants.
Yeah.
So how do you pick
Yeah.
a specific nationality and say
Mm-hmm.
they're not good anymore? So I think that you have always been one of my go-tos. When whenever I thought of whenever somebody said, "Oh, can you develop any program with a community-based organization?" You would be one of the first people to come to mind.
Oh, thanks, Nina.
Yeah. But
It's
you never actually let me down. You never let anybody down. Like, just go over really quick the things that CCE does because I really don't think
ah
that people know.
yeah. So you're right. I don't think a lot of people know, but so outside, what people see is how we love to express through dance.
Hmm.
They see my, because
I
that's where
love
I
it.
came from. That's what kept me off the streets when
I
I
love
was
it.
young, a way to express myself, especially when hip hop came out.
How come it's
You
so
know,
natural
we
with you
were,
though, Joe?
because I've been doing this is what my family was dancing the hustle. They were going out to the clubs with the platforms and the bell bottoms and the big. They were doing
Afros.
it back in the days. They weren't playing. So
But it's very
my whole
natural for
dance
you,
life came through my
your
family.
culture.
And I'm the only one out of five siblings that don't sing, but I can dance and organize.
Wow.
I can
You're
dance.
no, you're organized.
I can,
Drew, you are an organizer. Drew,
because I love that.
I've been
Uh,
in parades with you,
yeah.
going to the plaza. Unbeknownst to me, one time you had smash. What is it called? Flash mob
Oh,
thing.
flash mob. Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
in the middle of this thing because I'm in a parade, and all of a sudden the whole entire plaza is doing this dance, and I was like, "Oh, I could do this. I
Mm.
could dance."
Ah,
I, I was like, "Oh, you had all these. Everybody was doing it better than me." I was like, "I need to take a class or
this is not a
something." But
competition. Just jump in.
you had
It just look.
probably
Yeah.
honestly 1,000 people,
It's a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. We
and it
sent
looked
out
so
videos
dope
for people
to
to
see all everybody
rehearse.
doing the same thing. I
Yeah.
thought that was so fly.
Yeah, that's to me, that's we have ways of bringing community together. For me, it's
Oh, you do it
art.
very easy.
It's art. It's the
It is.
love of art and the passion what kept me safe as a child. You know, when everybody was doing their thing in the street, doing whatever, mine was dancing, music, DJing. I used to hold parties back in the days.
Did you?
Yeah, house parties though.
House parties?
House
House
parties.
parties was the
We
best,
used to
y'all. Oh
crush
my
it.
God.
No, I'm
No,
telling you,
we had the
turn up the
best.
light.
Oh my
My
gosh.
parents let me do a thing.
Red light parties.
Stop playing with me.
Listen, my mother let us go in the basement, and I learned how to slow dance in my mama's basement. Oh my God, I couldn't
I
believe
put,
it.
I had the speaker, and so we're in the third floor now in the projects. The speaker was in the window. I'm DJing. It's a
You was
good friend of mine.
DJing, and it
I
was your
was
party. Oh my
DJing.
gosh.
I was
Oh, you was
DJing.
doing it. You was
I had
doing
my
it.
45s and my albums and
That's throwback.
I have the tape. So I was doing the whole thing. People was
That's
like,
a
yo, can I come
throwback.
through? So it was like $1. Everybody
Yeah,
came in, a
that's a.
buck. And I was like, yeah, come in. But
I
yeah,
remember these.
and I'm telling you, I put the slow
Wow.
joints on. That I'm telling you, it was it.
Wow.
I remember energy parties here.
That you did?
Energy parties, yeah, we used to have energy parties.
Man,
That brought me back, but that was also a way to keep our kids safe in a
yes.
space of love
No,
and
but they're,
respect, and on the side, a little oversight because
listen,
parents trusted that their kids would be safe. You know, coming
they
together
really
with us,
did.
listening to music
They really
and
did.
doing the thing.
They were
Yeah,
drawn to that to your center though, Joe.
yeah, uh-huh.
Always have been drawn to your center. So
Mhm.
besides like so one of the things that fascinated me at one of your shows was you didn't just do hip hop and R&B. You
Mm-mm.
had
I have
Latino
salsa, merengue, bachata,
bachata.
duragense. I mean,
You better teach me
yeah,
bachata.
I got you.
I'm gonna learn me some
I got
bachata.
you.
I've been
When you come
saying
on
it.
my show, that's gonna be the dance with Drew moment. We're gonna know king
Oh
king
my,
king
I
ka ka
love
kung ka
bachata.
ka. Don't play
I
with
watch
me.
it all the time.
Well, you
And
gotta
I
have
try
to
to
do
keep
it.
up. Now I can dance nasty because a lot of it's nasty. I can do that. But the bachata, like there's just something extra. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what it
yeah.
is.
Uh-huh.
I want it.
It's that little bink.
I
Uh-huh. That little.
I want it. So you have all these different kinds of dance. You have financial literacy.
Yeah.
You have programs. I
We
went
have an
to
after school program. We have a preschool for 3 to 5 year olds,
wow.
free because we're working with the school district. So that's UPK,
You have three to
Universal
five
Preschool.
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 That's so
So
dope
yep, the kids are there from 9 to 2, and then they stay until 6 because
because
then
the
there's the
parents
after
work.
school program.
That's
Right.
crazy.
So we have
What
that.
a
And then
resource.
our after school program drop kids off from the elementary school and
In
all the middle
addition to that,
schools. Yep,
whoa,
at 3,
I
and
see
then
them. I
we
see
have
kids
so
get
we
dropped
work with
off there.
Family of Woodstock. They feed the kids. We run to Hodge. We pick up the food. We bring it back. Kids
Wow,
always
you
have
do
a
that
hot
every
meal
day?
every day,
You pick up the
five
food
days a
every
week,
day?
and then yeah, then we're working with a church, which on Fridays they have bags of food for all the kids and their families that they can take home with them for the weekend. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So it's a arts-based community center, and it's a
I
nonprofit.
love that.
So no one is ever turned away for the inability to pay. We work it out. We have a lot of kids coming for free and or very
You
low
always
cost,
have.
and we have the best teaching artists in the Hudson Valley.
You always have. Wow, I love it. I remember that I saw this lady doing some kind of dance. I said, I don't know what that is, but she looked like somebody off of a Broadway show. I was like, she was so graceful. I said, you got
Probably.
everybody over
Right.
here.
Mm.
She was Latina. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember, but you always had, it wasn't just one, it wasn't just R&B.
No, we have West Coast Swing. We have, like I said, on
And now we're
Thursdays
about to
we
go
have
into some other stuff.
salsa. Yeah. Tell me what. Oh, yes.
Boom, boom,
I'm not
boom.
gonna say it. I'm gonna let you tell
No,
the people
I,
what we're
what,
if
listen,
you want, but that's up to you.
stay tuned.
Yeah, stay
Stay
tuned.
tuned
Stay tuned.
for boots on the ground
Ooh,
because this man right here, he already got his gear.
yo,
He already got
I
his
am
gear.
so ready.
I don't even, first of all, I couldn't picture myself with a cowboy hat on,
Yeah,
but I'm going to,
I
listen,
got mine straight from Texas.
can't
I
believe it.
got mine straight from Texas. Holes in the jeans, the whole thing. Uh-huh. I'm not
Wait, this
playing.
is going to be epic. We're working on something.
Fans and everything. What?
Listen, that's crazy. Where them fans at? Where them
Hey,
fans at? I
bing,
can't
pop.
wait. I can't wait. When you'll see this event, it's going to be a fundraiser. We're collabing on something. This is going to be the kickoff. And then, if I'm not mistaken, CCE is going to provide
Hmm.
how to because I
Oh
need some
yeah,
how to.
way ahead of time. Don't worry about that.
I can't
That's
even
all
wait.
taken care of.
Tell Lisa be patient with me because
Tell,
I'm gonna need some help.
we, we
So
we move with love. Don't worry. We take care of
get
you.
your gear. Get your
Yes.
gear. Dot dot dot.
Get your hats,
And app,
the
don't forget,
jeans.
CCE is gonna provide classes on this.
Uh-huh.
Like Lisa can do
Lisa is.
anything. I said one day I walked in there and she had elderly people in
Oh
there
yeah, you have.
doing dances right along with younger people, and they was doing it better than me. I was like, they was like, come on. I was so embarrassed because I said, no, them people ain't gonna show me up.
Hmm.
Them elderly people are gonna show me up.
But we do have elder classes 3 to 4 every Friday with Miss V. So that's also something that we provide
So you have elder
for
classes, so that wasn't
yeah,
just a
yeah. So
thing.
this is 55 and older. So our
Oh, I'm
oldest
in my 40s,
is
but I can
80
still come.
86. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, they'll kick you out. But anyway, they'll be like, who this youngin'? And then you'll
I
put your
gotta
head
be
down and you go
I gotta
walking
be a
out.
class that's
Yeah.
on my level. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I can't wait.
That's about it. That's
You've
good.
always done so many good, positive, and you keep up with the times. How do you do that?
I,
Because you mentioned the boots on the ground to me. I wanted to collab
yeah.
with you, but when you said it, I went like, oh
That's
my,
why I can't wait until we get together and put to paper
listen.
so we can make it
No,
happen. We're not playing any
and it's gonna be
games,
very
Nina.
in the very near future because
Yes.
that's how I have to do things because
Hmm.
there's something already in July, so we'll talk more about that offset.
Okay.
But I'm so excited about it. How do you? So you said you were working with a church.
Yeah.
How do you connect? I know you work with Christine Hine all the time.
Hmm.
She
Hmm.
mentioned your name when I had her in here
Hmm.
for the episode with her. which they're doing amazing things too.
Yeah,
How do
big
you
time.
collab so well with people? I love it.
I think collaboration is
It's
when
key.
both parties benefit. So
It's key.
if we're collaborating, you should come in thinking, how are they going to benefit from my asking them? Some people, that's not all the time, so I just want to be clear.
No, but that's very
Sometimes there's
fair.
a need that has to be filled, and the benefit from me is being having the resources or having the knowledge to help. So that's beneficial to me, that I can help my community member.
But people
Or
don't think like that always.
I dig it,
But I think it's
and I think
guaranteed to
it's
work, and you're going to have more positive outcomes when you think like you just said.
right.
How can we work together? But how can they be okay
Yeah,
and me
yeah,
be
yeah,
okay?
yeah. We want it to be
I think that
beneficial to all parties
that's gonna
that
make
are
the outcomes better.
participating. Yeah, I
Definitely.
think so.
So, but people must just kind of come to you, like, because I'm telling you, anytime there's something, Drew, I remember there was, oh gosh, a co- during COVID, we were trying to get information out there about the mass, and we were trying
Yep.
to provide mass. And we were like, let's get Drew, because if we can get Drew energy to come and dance, we're gonna get people out.
And you guys blessed us. I
Well, that
remember
was,
you led that
but
whole
that was so,
initiative.
but you did, but you came and got down.
Yeah, but
That
you
doesn't
said,
mean that you have
and
to accept it.
but because of that, we were able to help people. Remember, we went to each
We went
block
to
and we were
every
playing
stores in
music,
Ulster
singing.
County, I think.
Marlene was singing, and we
Yes.
were
It
dancing
was
in the
so
street.
collaborative.
Yeah, people
We went to the
separated.
projects.
We went to
I
the
actually kind of miss doing
man.
stuff like that. I like pop-up stuff like that. If you call and say,
Just
Nina,
ain't
we're
nothing
going to
but a
be at
thing.
such and such.
This ain't nothing but a thing
Wait,
right now.
I saw you guys at a furniture store.
Oh yeah,
I went to collab
yeah,
with this furniture store owner, director,
yeah.
for something. And I was going to try to help him because they were trying to get business. They were a new furniture store.
Mm,
I walk in and CC East there dancing. I said,
yeah, yeah. We had all the kids
what
there.
didn't you
That was
do?
fun.
Like, it's crazy.
Anything that I feel we do is going to benefit the
The
whole.
community.
You know what I
And
mean?
more people need to think like that.
So,
One of the things I want to suggest, and hopefully by throwing it out there, it will come to pass.
hmm
The walkway, our walkway here. I
hmm
would love to see events on that walkway. That was the original hope, Mike Hine, when he started it.
Right,
There's
right.
something coming up
hmm
in the future about Earth Day or whatever, something involving that walkway. I would love to see events. Like I go to Poughkeepsie to their walkway because it's
Right, right.
popping.
Yeah.
Like I don't go as much as I like, but now they have events. They have autism. They'll have
We're in that. I think it's in September.
see, you see how
Yeah,
connected
yeah,
you are? But we need
yeah.
to
They
bring
just
some of
told
that
me.
to Ulster County because it's corny here. I'm sorry, I have to say. I think we need
It's not
come
corny.
on,
Stop saying that.
it is corny.
We're
We need to grow
you
this thing
see
over here.
that?
We have to grow
I
this thing.
agree.
We only improve by being honest, I think. So if we can actually take that walkway and have events like other places do, I see people from all over the world in Poughkeepsie at that
But
walkway.
we don't lack the knowledge. We don't lack the know-how. We only lack the ability to draw people together. And that is, to me, as long as you're willing to
Sometimes the
put in the work, we can
bureaucracy,
do it.
I find honestly here in Kingston, I'm going to be honest again,
Mm,
Kingston, we don't have the input. We're not allowed so much input because sometimes people get funding and they think that this is what's good for us, but it doesn't always reach the people that it needs to from areas of disparity. One of the things that walkway was developed for was so that people could walk from this neighborhood
yeah.
down to the plaza to get their groceries and
Yep.
whatever.
hmm
I do the walkway all the time. I love it, love it, love it. But I love to make people bring more attention to people because sometimes people that live in underserved areas and areas of disparity,
hmm
they don't think about those things because they're trying to figure out how to eat. How am I
Dig
going to
it.
keep my lights on? How
hmm
am I? So I think that by doing events there would be great.
hmm
Like one of the things I'm trying to do right now, and maybe you can help me with this, I'm trying to bring the carnival back again. I
All right.
asked,
People love that
it was
carnival.
great. I tried to ask the plaza and they told me it's booked up.
Why don't we do it at the beach?
Well, I thought about the beach. I actually made an appointment with the mayor. I'm actually waiting to hear back from them because
Mm,
parents are calling me. They're saying, "Hey, are you doing that thing? Are they?" I went to
mm.
um the hotel on the hill. I can't remember the name of a hotel. A lot of
Kingston?
homeless people are
Oh,
in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I
Kingston
gave
Hotel.
away
Yep.
tons of tickets. Those kids didn't pay for anything.
Mm,
And that I can do again, but I just need to have a location as key. The beach would be great.
mm-hmm.
But it has to be a place with parking. So the mayor, I did text him. I'm waiting to hear back from you, Mayor. You're good to me, but I need to.
He'll definitely call. We'll give him a little nudge. We'll let
Yeah,
him know.
but and
He'll
I know he's
definitely
busy.
call.
I know
So
things. Everybody's trying to get at him,
yeah,
but
but
this
we're
is a
adding to
family
this
event. That's
community. This that'll be great. It reminds me of Coney Island.
it
You know,
was
that's on the
seen a
beach. So you
Ferris wheel in
have
Kingston, and Poughkeepsie's already scheduled. So the people, the
mhm,
carnival people, called me and said, Nina, like we only have a few dates left, so I need to get this thing set up so that families. This is not just for kids; it's for whole families, and that's what I love about it. So it
mm,
can happen. So
let's talk
we'll talk
about it.
more about that offset too.
Let's
You
do
know,
that. Let's do
yeah, it
that.
has to
Yeah.
happen. And you helped me the first time I did it. You
Yeah.
came up and
I
danced.
told you. Yeah.
I was like, it was so much fun. We were doing Simon Says, and you just jumped right in. You and
Well,
Lisa.
we can get all the people. We have so much
I love
talent
it.
here. And I'm just gonna say this. I personally don't think Kingston is corny. I dig where you're coming from, but I'm gonna say I look at Kingston like for you come up with a good idea. You all you got to do is share it.
They're not
Talk
always
to
taken
different
though.
people,
People,
and we can make it happen. Like we're making this happen.
I and this. Let's talk
We're
about that.
making this happen. This
Let's
is
talk about
the
this.
Motown sound. I grew
Yes,
up on Motown.
this is crazy.
A lot of the parents of the
Oh, they're
children
probably
we
loving
work with,
this.
they love it, and they grew up with the Motown sound. Now, the thing about the culture of Motown is that during the '60s, Barry Gordy, when he came together, it took the world by storm.
By
Everyone. It
storm.
brought people together
It
just like
did.
we do at CCE.
Right.
And that's what we're that's the
Shout these specifics out. I know people can
yeah.
see it, but shout
Okay,
it out.
so this is May 17th at UPAC Theater here on Broadway.
It's
Here, let
gonna
me
be
go
amazing.
little close. And we have
I'm
young
so excited.
people. So we have from 3-year-old to our oldest is 87. He'll be 88 this year, performing in the show.
Oh my God, I got chills from that.
Intergenerational. It's going to be dance. It's going to be singing, spoken word, and it's just going. And then we have merch that we're selling as well. It's family friendly. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check us out on CCE. Now check this out. If you want to purchase tickets, purchase it. It's a fundraiser for our scholarship fund. We have over 80% of our youth are on scholarship, whether
Free. They're
free,
going there for
that
free.
means free or very low cost. Okay.
I need a ticket.
All right.
Yes.
So we're raising money for this and our summer camp and all of that. So please
How do they get the tickets?
support this. Going to CCE, you can get it with no fee. If you buy it through UPAC Theater, there's going to be a fee.
So
So
go right to
we
CCE
have
building.
about yeah, you're going to save some money. So
So you
go
guys got to
check
get it
us
because I
out.
know it's
Yeah.
loading up right now. Get your tickets
Yeah.
for Motown. I love the idea. I
Yes.
love that your theme is Motown.
Yep. Motown sound.
Everybody must love this.
And you see that? Look at it. Look at it. There's Kingston. I don't know if you remember the Detroit was on the original album, but
Oh,
we
that's
put
so.
Kingston.
See now
We put
this
Motown in
isn't corny.
Kingston.
This
You know
is
what I'm
so
saying?
crazy. These are the kind of things that we need. I love this, Drew.
Yeah, yeah.
The 17th, May
Yep, May
17th. What time
7th,
does it start?
6 o'clock.
May
Get there
17th,
early.
6
Get there
o'clock.
early.
But
Yeah.
get your tickets, CCE on Cedar Street. Go
Yep.
there and get your ticket.
16 Cedar Street. Come there on the 16th. We have a fundraiser because we're going to have over 170 people at the building. So we're doing a fundraiser at the pop-up, which is 10 Cedar Street, all connected. Come and support. You can buy merch. You can buy food. Have your
On the
dinner there
same day or
on the 16th.
so
That's
on
the
the
day
16th is
before.
the
So
fundraiser.
what that day, that
And if you
is
don't have your
our
ticket by then, that's a good day to get your
yeah,
ticket
get your
because
tickets.
that's
Yeah,
very
because
last
that's the
minute
last
though.
day. That's the last day,
You
and
might
then
want
we
to
shut it
get
down.
it much sooner than that.
Yeah.
Like me, I've been I got somebody called
Uh-huh.
me and said, "Are you going to Motown?" I'm like, "I am, but I didn't get my ticket yet.
Yeah, come
We
to
got to get on it."
Motown
Yes.
at UPAC Theater. It's going to be another great. And wear your attire, wear your
Yes.
Motown, wear your suit, your bell bottoms. Do a thing.
I'm trying.
Sparkle.
I
Look
said I have to
sparkly.
figure something out because last year you guys did the theme was
That was that was putting on the Ritz in the Harlem Renaissance.
And people were
They
dressed
came through.
up for that.
They came through.
Oh my God, I had Alicia's just thrilled to death about this. She's like,
Oh,
girl,
Alicia knows
she
how
probably
to
got her
dress.
outfit
Her
already.
and Joe, they don't play.
They
They
don't
don't
play.
play. I think she's like, Joe, this is what you're wearing.
He does. And he just goes right with it. I love
Good
it.
man, good
But
man.
I think a lot of people are gonna be dressed up for this because this is
Yeah.
like from my mother's era.
Oh
Like
man, yes.
everybody loved
Yeah.
Motown. You know, we all
Born and
grew up with
raised,
Motown.
I was in that. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so get your tickets and also look on the site. What's your site, Drew?
So
So people can look into your
yeah,
classes.
thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
It's CC
Tell the
Charlie
camera.
Edward. So it's CCE the number 4 me.org. CCE for me.org, or on social media is Center for Creative Education, or if you plug in CCE, we'll just pop up CCE Kingston. Yeah.
Yes. I'm so
Yeah.
glad. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity. Is there
Oh
anything else that you want to
man.
throw out there,
I
Drew?
just
Because I could go on and on for
No,
hours with
well,
you.
there's this thing that Mother Teresa, and this is part of my learning and teaching with Ubuntu.
Hmm.
Mother Teresa said, "Compassion is useless without action and application." Okay, so we could be compassionate about our people and about humanity, but without action
Makes
and
sense.
applying it to something
Right.
that is kind of nebulous, or kind of
We could
whatever.
talk about it, but we
So
got to be about it.
let's be
Oh,
say less.
we got to
You
be
got to
about it,
be
yo.
about it, guys.
Yes.
Motown moved the nation. Now let Motown move Kingston.
I
We're
love
gonna
it.
get together. We're gonna do a thing. We're gonna have a good time on the 17th. Come
Yes.
through. Yo, show love to Nina
No,
and Nina's bag. No, real talk. That's it. Show love to Nina.
Drew, I'm
Please.
so happy that you came. You got to promise to come back though, because you're
You just
always doing things.
I
So
know, I know.
I need to keep up. Like you might be putting somebody on the moon the next time. I just need to know so I can put it out there. You know
Now
what I
the next
mean?
thing we're gonna talk about is what we're doing. That's the
Yes.
next time I want to come out.
Yes, we will. That means
Boots
you're
on
going to
the
be back in
ground.
a
Let's
couple of weeks
boots
because
on the ground. Let's go.
boots on the ground, y'all. Where them fans at?
Cat,
Where them fans at?
cat.
I love it. Thank you, y'all. Let's
Yo,
see what's in Nina's bag.
yeah,
Advocate,
yeah,
educate, elevate.
yeah. Peace and love, y'all.